Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and a reviewer who should have retired by now. You have been warned. This is Random Review.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1294 of our daily content grind. Today, we are taking a look at the newest Transformer line out there that is not Age of the Primes, or the New Look Studio series, or even the Mix Mashers. No, we have to look at the Swapticons, because I, like many of you, am currently on the hunt for all the brand new stuff, because I keep seeing that it's being cited all over the place. I go to my local stores and they have nothing, because I live in South Florida, where distribution is a nightmare. So as I wait for things to actually start appearing in my area, the one thing I could find were these little guys. And to justify this purchase, we are now going to be looking at everything from Wave 1, sans the 5-figure pack that for some reason was not released at the same time, or else I couldn't find it at my Walmart. Point being, let us take a look. So, this first set, the one you're most likely to get, is going to be Optimus and Ultra Magnus seen here. So, if you don't know what you are in for, there you go. So, design-wise, these things come across very bot shots, at least in like body proportion and how they actually worked all of the robot in there, especially with the arms just kind of sticking out to the side. But they don't all do that. As you can see, Optimus Prime has different armature, so he's kind of just cheering. This is all he can really do. His arms can go up. If they move forward, that's basically the position for vehicle mode. So that's all they can really do. You can also see the head designs on these things are exceptionally cartoonish. The glare from my ring light is obscuring it a little bit. But you're taking a look at it, and it's weird, isn't it? The face designs, the artwork style, and the expressions they're giving off give me like late run Mighty Mug vibes. You remember the second attempt to do Mighty Mugs with the head that could swap between different faces? It's that style of zany cartoon Transformer, which I've never been huge on. But I know there's people who like the aesthetics, so there you go. I mean, everything else is done as well as they could for something like this. You know, you got the windows painted in, the robot mode is kind of sculpted on what is the underside of the truck. I mean, detail is there. I don't know why Prime's legs are almost entirely silver. That doesn't seem correct. Well, yeah, nothing toward the back. It's pretty much just going to be like a block, roughly designed like a vehicle or beast, and then just a head that sticks out and body sculpt underneath. Not the most complicated of things, because these are inexpensive and they are more, aimed at like a kid's gimmicky thing. Ultra Magnus takes liberties with his design too. Obviously, the torso is not quite right. But, I mean, the colors are there, the shapes are there for the most part. He has a zany, not as zany as Prime's design to his head as well. I actually kind of like that he is notably taller than Optimus. So that actually does, work out in a weird way. That actually makes sense. So, if you haven't seen these yet, you are not missing much when it comes to the transformation. So, let me close up the arms. So the heads are on springs, and these little grooves are supposed to fit together, and then once they are together, you push them in, and the teeth around the head close into each other. So just lock the heads into place, move like so, twist to get the teeth together, and that's your vehicle mode. Now, that itself, there's something a little bit satisfying about that, especially when you are making like a full solid vehicle mode like this. And Prime and Magnus together in order to accomplish that makes total sense. He does look like a little Optimus Prime vehicle mode here, but you can see the Magnus colors in the back too if you know he's there. It's a nice little optical illusion thing, and it's not a bad little truck. Big smokestacks, paint on the front, stripes are there. Not sure why he has a spoiler. I don't see many flat-nosed semi-trucks that are worried about wind resistance. And you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. Goofball things. So that's Prime. I guess I should introduce his counterparts, which are going to be Megatron and Shockwave. Now, the funny thing about this is the other Autobots kind of have that, like, arms going out thing. These are the only two, the Decepticons, who have the hugging arms. Yes, we know you're fond of each other in some continuities. Megatron is so bright in his silver that the ring light is trying to completely obfuscate him. I do apologize for that. But the design itself is fine. Like, again, I could have used a little bit more coloring, just so a little bit more of a correct coloring, just so I can make out the robot a little bit better on Megatron. The facial expression on Shockwave is bizarre. Like, I think he's supposed to look mean. He just kind of looks disinterested in things. I don't know, it's that wandering, wavering, like, uni-eye he has. But you can see, like, they are at least recognizable. Shockwave's got his big chest. Megatron's got his all-silver body. To transform. Closing up the arms. The cannon has to rotate down, and then we do... Oh. There we go. And what you get is an interesting little take on a tank mode, which is not too bad. It's a little bit Cybertronian. It's a little bit, like, War for Cybertron in aesthetic, but it's not bad. I mean, it definitely looks like a fusion of Shockwave and Megatron, if you really want to imagine it as such. So I will give it credit for that. And it's a nice little mix. Bizarre, but at least it's an interesting vehicle. I mean, look at the treads. I've never seen vertical treads before. So there you go. I guess that just has to count as unique. Oh, and yeah, these actually do remove. So they're on 3mm ports, I believe. So you can swap them around, use them accessories somewhere else, or just rotate them like turrets. So you do get a little bit more playability out of this particular set than you do most of the others that are currently available. But yeah, that's another bizarre one, but hey, Megatron and Shockwave actually do make sense. Next up, let's get the other two Autobots in here, and this is an interesting pair. I like this. So, Bumblebee, Hot Rod. So, kid-friendly character, attempt to replace. It didn't quite work, but interesting to see these two. So, like, the weird thing is, I always feel like Bumblebee has kind of eaten Hot Rod's lunch, right? Like that, like the young, like the young impulsive guy who's like trying to live up to Optimus Prime. I feel like that was Hot Rod's shtick, and now Bumblebee is kind of in that niche. So you don't really see Hot Rod much anymore. Sadness. I like Hot Rod. But here in the 2-pack is interesting. Now they're doing it because they can kind of play off of Bumblebee's yellow color. I mean, it's not too far off on Hot Rod. Does give him yellow arms, but, you know, it's just kind of how this is going to go. They worked his pipes in, so he's going to be the rear half of Bumblebee vehicle mode, but they worked in his exhaust pipes, and, you know, the spoiler is going to make sense. I don't mind their expressions as much. Hot Rod is super, super happy. Like, these two are just living best life. They are both very excited, very overjoyed about something. I don't ask what. But yeah, it's just nice little Bumblebee design. I mean, it looks like it's more of a, like, it's obviously more of the, like, current version of Bumblebee. It's not G1 centric. I mean, G1 styled head, but the torso body just lets me know, like, yeah, that's evergreen. That's your typical one. And then Hot Rod just kind of doing the Hot Rod thing. I will admit one thing about it that's hard to show on camera. The flame on the chest is actually sculpted. It's not just a flat decal or paint, which is kind of what I expected here. Okay, how do you two look? So I'm going to close you up. I'm going to join your heads. Click in. And now you have Hot Bumble. What? Bumble Rod. Sounds worse. Either way, it's a weird mix. It's a interesting vehicle mode they are forming. This is where I start getting vibes of like the Combiner Micromasters that America did, where it was two pieces that separated into two, like one long vehicle that separated into two robots. That's what I'm trying to say. It's got that vibe to it, you know, especially here where like, yeah, like you take a look at this, like that's a cohesive vehicle, but it's a weird vehicle. I can see Hot Rod's influence in this, you know, in the rear section, but it flows into Bumblebee nicely. And then Bumblebee gets Hot Rod's engine up front as well, which I guess is the counterbalance to the fact that all of Hot Rod's coloring is gone and it's just Bumblebee yellow up in here. It's a funny little car. It's a funny little vehicle. It's almost what if Bumblebee got the Matrix in design. Kind of funny that way. So, not too bad, not too bad. I think this one is probably the one I like the most. Like, Optimus is fine, but it kind of forms a normal Optimus. This forms something weird, and it's two characters that I really, really like, so that's fun. That's kind of fun. And then we get to the weird one of Wave 1, and that is going to be Cheetor and Tigatron. So we threw in just a little bit of Beast Wars here too, just for the sake of, you know, a little bit of variety, which I don't mind that so much. I mean, what is odd about it is, well, the connecting gimmick is going to make this very, very awkward. But we'll get to that here in a minute. First off, again, odd expressions. Tigatron has never been this happy in his life. He's kind of gloomy over one thing or another all the time in Beast Wars, so that's not a great expression for him. Also, I turned my lights down for this video, and they're still like super bright. I apologize for washing everything out. Okay, Cheetor, on the other hand, like, okay, so we got the cheetah head in there, we got the blue legs. That's actually not looking too bad. What I appreciate is they could have easily just done the same sculpt here on the bottom, and they didn't. They are actually different, like they are trying to emulate the cartoon rather than the toys. So good on them. That actually looks way, way better. Cheetor's expression is goofball, but it might be the only one that's like completely in character for these toys. So we will give it that. So, transforming these guys. There's actually a slight bit of a transformation step. Tigatron has to lower the arms all the way down. Then we can actually do the combination. Okay. This is not a cat. This is not a cat. This is a loaf of bread with legs. This is a loaf of a cat. Let's be honest. We all know a cat on TikTok that looks like this. All of you do. You know what? Nothing wrong with that. So this is kind of where we get the yellowing that they're doing for this toy. It's kind of a split between the yellow of Cheetor and the cream color of the original Tigatron toy, so they can kind of meet in the middle. And that's actually a pretty clever way of handling this, because it's not too far off. You know, it looks fine. Now, I will say, because it's the arm articulation, you know, all the legs can move up and down, so you do have a little bit more playability here. And the tail is pegged in, so you can technically adjust the tail's angle, have it coming off like, you know, like an actual cattail. It's a softish plastic, though, so I recommend pulling the tail out, turning it, then putting it back in, rather than just twisting it in spot. That is a great way of ripping the peg off. But no, it's the goofiest one so far. It makes me feel like all the beasts are going to be super goofy. Paint on the face is nice, though. I mean, it's obviously not a cheetah of any kind, but it's got a little bit of striping and spotting to the face, at least. So, let me get all of these in here, because we have to go over the whole reason these things exist. So, remember, the original, what I mentioned before, is like the vibe of these is trying to hit the same note as the Combiner Micromasters from G1, and to that end, all of these are swappable compatible, and that's the entire point of this line. So, you know, for instance, you know, let's take Bumblebee, let's take Optimus, like swapping those around. Fine and well to do. And color-wise, it doesn't work great, but it is kind of fun that you can actually swap around and do whatever you want, right? So, like, if I want, you know, Ultra Magnus and Cheetor to be a combiner, I can do that. And then I have this cat who is desperately trying to escape the tiny box that he has accidentally gotten himself stuck in. Yep. Let's see. Do I want a Bumblebee that has 1 tiger worth of horsepower? That is a doable thing too. Hot Rod and Optimus. Hot Rod and Optimus kind of work. Like, they share the red. So it's just kind of a weird yellow trailer coming off of Optimus Prime. We can get these two in here too. I mean, this is where it starts getting like super weird. You know, if I want Megatron and Ultra Magnus to combine, I can get that trailer going. You know, yeah, and it's not reserved to just front and back. 2 backs can also connect to each other. It's completely universal. So if you want to imagine some weird amalgamation vehicle, you can do that too. So this is where the gimmick does have its fun. Like, this is stupid. These toys are stupid. But they are fun kind of stupid. I'm waiting. I need Wolfang to be made. Like some kind of like wolf transformer of any kind. So I can do a cat dog thing. They're not available right now. I can do a cat gator if I had the right set. I don't have that set yet. So yeah, the swap gimmick's so stupid. The swap gimmick is so stupid, but it is kind of fun. I will give it that. And honestly, like, as just like desktop little stim toys, these are actually not too bad at all. You know, so like, just to give you an example here, just to kind of bring someone in, that's a core class transformer. So you get a size thing here. You know, they're not terribly tall, but because they are big block things, they still feel good in the hand. Like, they are still pretty good, just like fiddle around things. So if you need something like that on your desk, like, this is not a bad little item. Now, as I said, they're dumb. They are exceptionally dumb. I don't know if I'm going to continue beyond these. I am going to get the 5-pack if I see it, because Skull Cruncher. Need me a Skull Cruncher. But it's a goofball little thing. It's one of those gimmicks that Hasbro does every now and then, where the whole point is to connect toys together, preferably when they're all in frame. But they never really do the thing I want, which is for them to all come out in one color. I feel like if some of these had more like unifying color schemes, this would actually work out a little bit better and be a little bit more fun to swap around. You know, Optimus and Hot Rod, for instance, work a little bit because they do have the red mixed in. But I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, retools and repaints to give you a little bit more like solid vehicle options. But these are goofy. It's one of the goofier ideas they have had. It's like trying to mix G1 Micromasters, Crash Combiners, and Mighty Mugs all at the same time. And whether or not that works is entirely up to your discretion. For me, aesthetic is a little bit goofier than I'd like, but I will admit I've been having fun just kind of fiddling with them. And if I get more, it's one of those gimmicks that just keeps feeding itself. You know, one more set means a dozen extra combinations I can do. So this might be a rabbit hole for some people. For me, I might leave it at this. We'll see what comes out in Wave 2, if these continue. But there you go. If you're curious about them, that's what they are about. So, thank you everyone for watching. I hope this was informative for people out there. Let me spend the $30 on Wave 1 so you don't have to. And I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.